Good afternoon and welcome back. Kent Bain with 9 Business Group and Elevate Your Business Chat. We have the pleasure of Saawan Logan joining us today with Northwater. Saawan, please introduce yourself and your company, what makes you guys different, unique, and why people would buy from you versus the competition.
Thank you, Kent, for hosting me. It's a real pleasure to be here and to talk about pure Canadian Rocky Mountain water. I sell pure Canadian Rocky Mountain water. I am Saawan Logan. I am the CEO of the company and the founder of the brand as well. Northwater is just a nod to Canada, our amazing Rockies, and just the amazing water we have as a country that we can offer to the world. And the brand exists, the company exists because we felt there was a gap. What makes us so unique is that how many people can say that they have tried water from the Canadian Rockies around the world. That's what makes us unique. We are a glacial water. The glacier is over 1 billion years old, and the water is as pure as it gets. There's no human activity around the spring itself. It's an area that is very secluded. So there's no real pollution. There's no farmland anywhere nearby. So there's no fertilizer running into our spring. And that's what makes it so special. So what makes our water special then compared to other people is just that we sell pure Canadian Rocky Mountain glacial water and in aluminum bottles. Reuse the bottles, plastic free, and it's guilt-free hydration.
That was so well said. I'm inspired to go buy some. Thank you. That is great. On that, I remind me to ask you at the end where we can buy it. Since starting in business, what has been the biggest challenge you've had to overcome? How did you solve it? And what does it look like today?
Yeah, so I started my business in March 2020. That was the week of COVID lockdowns. So if I am to really look at the challenges we faced, I think like everybody, COVID is, the challenge we all didn't anticipate. Like my business partner and I, both accountants, and we did risk registers. We talked about risks and, we did an analysis and we didn't do COVID, and that analysis has totally skipped our mind. So, but that's, again, we all know that. So I think it's not a challenge that is unique to us, but it was a challenge. How did we overcome it? I'm an eternal optimist. I just looked at everything being, it's going to be over in 2 weeks because that's what we were told. Or maybe it's 3 weeks this time. Maybe it's going to be only another 6 months. I think it's finally over, but I don't know yet. But that said, I think that was one of the biggest challenges we faced as a company was that. And a lot of challenges came in that was associated with COVID. So how did we overcome COVID? It was just the determination to keep going, basically, I decided for myself personally that it was going to be my attitude that was going to change how I reacted to something. And so one of the things I learned very on in my business, early on in my business, fortunately, because of COVID, was that I had to be very nimble, which means I had to pivot my business in the direction that the market wanted me to pivot. So whether it was online sales or re-strategizing how we messaged for marketing, local became a big thing, buying local became a big thing. Anti-plastic movement became a bigger thing. And so we thought, let's kind of go after those things that actually are true to our brand. So they were already true to our brand, but wasn't a big part of our marketing component. And we thought, let's highlight those things because that's what people want to hear. That's what people want to see. And we are already doing that anyway. So some easy changes in terms of how we spoke about our brand was one thing. The biggest thing I learned, and I think, as part of your audience may appreciate this as well, was that I trained myself to not lose sleep over anything that wasn't within my control. So I worked very hard on it. I meditate quite a bit. I was raised in a Buddhist Christian family, so I spend a lot of time meditating and going inwards and doing my journey for myself to make sure that I'm in check and in balance with everything else that's going on around me. And part of it was going back to my practice, to my root, and saying, okay, what is it that I can control? And if I can't control it, then how do I react to it? Because everything around you is always going to happen. It's your reaction that determines how you deal with it, right? So it was important for me to control how I reacted. So that was my biggest saving grace and has been since I started this journey.
Thank you. That is well articulated. I think it does speak volumes because whether it's COVID or something else, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, there's going to be challenges as individuals on planet Earth. We're going to come across challenges, and it's not those challenges that define us, but it's, to your point, I think it's how we respond to them, what we do with it when we face them. So thank you. What is one thing you know now that you wish you would have known 30 months ago?
The one thing I know now that I wish I would have known 30 months ago, a lot of
When you
things
started your business. Yeah.
The one thing I think that has really resonated to me through this whole process that I wish I understood better was that how is it that you know, and I'll go back a bit to explain this. We all, as entrepreneurs, as startups, we have a crazy way of dealing with things where we all feel that we have something unique that the world wants. And so we think, yeah, you know, it's always going to be a David versus Goliath story. And we all know that David won. So you always think, yeah, I'm going to be the David. I will always win. But the reality is that the win is not that easy. It takes a lot to even start working towards the win. I underestimated that, you know, how much I can actually stand up and compete against people who were the Goliaths of this industry. And I wish 30 months ago I had a better idea of how to kind of deal with it than I do today. It would have stopped a lot of pain points. It would have given me a very different perspective, because in doing so, you also, when you are a little bit more confident and, you know, a little bit silly where you think, everybody's going to love my product, why wouldn't they? You tend to go towards being undercapitalized versus overcapitalized, right? So it does tie into how much you invest and what it really takes to take something not just off the ground, but to make it successful.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's a two-part question. So what industry would you consider yourself in? Define it. And then as you look out into the landscape for the next 18 to 24 months, what are the top 3 challenges that you face or the industry faces?
Yeah, so I am part of a bottled water industry, so beverage, CPG, consumer product. For those who don't know, North Water comes in aluminum bottles that are reusable, recyclable, 100% recyclable, and plastic free. I have a lot of challenges that are coming our way from an industry standpoint. Number one is that bottled water is considered a luxury item for the most part. It's a great addition to when you're going to buy a sandwich or a coffee. It's great for that. But when it comes in aluminum bottles, I'm competing in a plastic world that sells for 5 cents a bottle. So my bottle now, to bring it into Canada, we buy our bottles from the States. It's $1 a bottle, just an empty bottle, because it's aluminum. And aluminum is a price that is dictated by world market. It's not dictated by Calgary. It's not dictated by anything within my own control. So the market price for aluminum is very, very high. And COVID pushed that, because with COVID, as metal prices went up, well, aluminum is a metal, so it went up as well. But we always looked at it as, do you pay for environment today or do you pay for it down the road, which is going to be way more expensive? So people need to make their choice. But that choice is amazing when you have money and the luxury to spend and you have a high disposable income, which many had during COVID because there was no other expenses in their lives. They were mostly staying home. There wasn't much more. But as you know, we learn of recession and the market kind of going really sour right now. You can see it in the States. That is a concern for us, because when recession hits and you're looking at 20% interest rates, 18% interest rates, as interest rates start rising, the first thing people give up are the luxuries, are the spending that they can get away without. And I'm pretty confident that bottled water will be one of those as well. Buying and eating out will be one of those. You're not going to go down to your Freshie for a salad bowl for $20. You're going to bring that from home for $5. And if you're not going to go to Freshie for a salad bowl, likelihood is you're not going to buy a bottle of water either. Not that we sell at Freshie. Freshie, if you're listening, you should buy North Water.
Nice plug. Thank you.
So that's one challenge. 2 challenges I think I just noted, which is market price for aluminum that's coming our way. Metal prices always go up with recession just because it's a easy place for people to keep their money. They have more control over it. People start to go for more tangibles. So that's going up. discretionary spending is going down, so that's going to become a second challenge for us. And if oil prices keep going the way it is, and gas, carbon taxes and things keep going up, transportation is another big challenge. So all three of our challenges really are cost related and revenue related, that we're anticipating.
So the business coach in me is going to go off script. So what is your challenge then, or opportunity to diversify or look for other markets? And what markets are you going to chase then outside of North America that might be less impacted by a recession? Or is this going to be a colossal global recession anyway, so it doesn't matter?
I think this is a global recession. I'm confident this is not a North America thing. China is already feeling it. And China is feeling it only because when North American spending comes down, China is their biggest market to buy from. They're going to go down too. But also they have had such a hard time with COVID, and they're coming out of it too. There's barely people there to work. They've been really strict about it. So their spending habits have also taken a downward toll, from what we are hearing and seeing. I know that we were working with the Chinese supplier before for boxes, right before COVID, in the hopes of being able to find something. And we never really used them because we wanted to go local. But the pricing then, the attitude then to the attitude today, you can see the desperation. You can smell the desperation. Wasn't something that was there. The cost of transportation, of containers and everything else has made it impossible for North American companies to keep supporting China. And so they are feeling it as well. They're feeling it from just the supply side of things, that how much the demand has fallen for their own products. So I don't see this to be, I think this is going to be a global problem. How can we pivot? The way we pivot is by looking at, I have a facility, I have the equipment. How can I help other brands there and alleviate some of their challenges so they don't need to go build up a plant? I think we as a community will have to work together tighter, better. Small businesses around will have to come together and say, is it worthwhile to have 12 of the same facilities running? Or is it worth time to consolidate some of these and kind of put our efforts in the same, kind of in the same area and build each other up? So the collaboration piece is going to be huge. Finding ways to work with each other, but also how do we kind of offer our resources to somebody else so they can kind of come and benefit from what we already have invested in. Excellent. So it's going to take some creative thinking and working.
And most successful businesses at most stages and almost multiple times a year retire some creativity and some outside the box thinkings to navigate and persevere. Which leads us nicely into the next question. What is your definition of a successful business?
So for me, success means sustainability, sustainable business, building a sustainable brand. And so I don't mean sustainable by environmental standards. I mean sustainable by a brand that can outlast you and outlive you as a person who started the brand, right? So there always comes a time in a person's life when you're no longer the right person for the business. You either don't have the skills to grow the business to the next level, or you need a bigger company to come and do it for you, or you may need to find something different, right? Or the brand itself may come towards an end of its own life. So there's lots of those. So I think a successful business is one that can navigate all of that and still remain and still be around no matter how many people come through. The brand has been built, it's kind of created, it's got its following, it's got its people, it's lived up to its values and continues to live up to its values. So a lasting brand, a lasting business is in my eyes what's successful. It's not, the definition isn't for me profit and how much money I make. The definition is my brand living and breathing the values it was created to do? And no matter who comes and takes that brand over, it better live and breathe the same values. That to me is success.
I'm going to write that one down. That is the new top favorite. I've been asking that question. I think I've asked that question now probably 20, 25 times in the last month, and that is the top answer. I love it. Thank you. We're going to share that one. Wide and proud. One last question. It's my favorite, but I think I know the answer, but we're gonna ask the question anyway. What do you want to be known for?
Same thing. I want to be known for, creating something that actually makes somebody else's life better. You know, I want to be a person that leaves that mark, that anybody that comes our way as a person who's come into my life, or as a person who's come into the life of, you know, has interacted with us as a brand, as a company, we've left something better for them. That's all. Like I want that the world to know that you know, we're part of a community, and I want them to feel like they're part of a community, they're part of a family in which we are helping that community and family thrive. If I can do that, I'd be quite happy in my grave.
Wow, well said. Beautiful. So one last plug. Where can people get more information on North Water? If we wanted to buy a bottle of some of this amazing water, where will we find it? And also give us a plug on the packaging facility, that if people are out there and they go, I want to learn more about how to do business, not necessarily competition with the team, but take my product. And so where can we find you? Give us the plug, phone numbers, websites, all that good stuff.
Sure. So if you want to just learn more about us, it's drinknorthwater.com. So drinknorthwater.com, pretty straightforward. And then if you want to visit our facility because you're excited, you're in Calgary and you think, hey, I'd like to go see who these guys are and, you know, where this Jasper water gets bottled, we are just off Barlow Trail and our website has our address on it. So feel free to do that. Hit us up. There's an info email on our website and I get that info email. And my team does as well. If you have any, you know, inquiries, if you're excited about just learning about us or have any questions or want to be part of this world where you're like, I want North Water, the glacial water, but with my name on it, reach out to us through that. It's a very easy process. And then where can you find us? We're in a number of Safeway Sobeys across Calgary and Alberta, all over Alberta. We're in Calgary Co-op. We're in Federated Co-op. We're in Whole Foods across Canada. We are in Lena's Italian Markets, which is one of our favorite spots. We are in Seed and Salt in Calgary, Phil and Sebastian Coffee Shop. We are in DeVille's, Dirt Belly, Chachi's, Hula. We're in a lot of places. And if you're feeling like super excited, you're probably in a hotel where you're staying as well. So if you're in a Shangri-La in Vancouver, Pacific Rim, or if you're at Malcolm Hotel in Calgary, in Canmore, sorry, or the Rimrock, you'll find us there. So many places to find us. I can't list the over 2,000 places we're in, but these are some of the places. And if you can't find us, just write it and send us an email, and likelihood is I'm going to respond pretty quick.
Cool. That is great. Thanks again. You've been a great guest. Thank you very much for your time and sharing it with us, and for sharing your story. Keep up the amazing work, and keep promoting this wonderful country and this great water. Don't promote it too much because we want to keep it special.
Oh, it's very special. Thank you very much for your time today as well, Kent. And I truly appreciate the opportunity to be a part of your podcast and to be able to speak to your guests. And I'm hoping that this inspires somebody to do something special as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Have a great week.
Yeah, you as well.